Okay, guys, so welcome to the next lesson. You guys just worked on your strengths, and I hope that you guys noticed that it was easier to talk about other people's strengths rather than your own. And that's for everyone, it's not just for you guys. Humans have a really hard time, or actually, I shouldn't say humans, people have a really hard time of thinking about the positives about themselves, but they have a super easy time thinking about the positives about others. And I think that comes with confidence. And I hope that this class will help build your confidence. Because when you have confidence, you're able to try new things more and things like that. So don't forget your strengths, and I hope you were able to elaborate on them in the worksheets. And now we're going to transition on to building goals and why that's important, especially for career ed. So we're going to open up with a little quote. Your goals are the road maps that guide you and show you what is possible for your life. So, very true. Without goals, you don't really have anything to work towards. And if you're working towards nothing, then it's kind of hard to. It's just hard when you think about it. If you're not working towards any goal, then what's up, right? And maybe your goal is to figure out what your goals are, and that's okay. But as long as you're working towards something, then I feel like it's easier. And that might be easier said than done, but hopefully you'll have just even a couple goals, even if they seem mediocre at the time. It helps focus your brain, and that's what we're trying to do. Focus your brain on one thing and getting that one thing done and how to accomplish it. Because the more you do that, the more your brain will get more, how do I say it, like more adapted to situations if you reach your goal and you have to do different things there in order to get that goal. Right, so if you aim at nothing, you'll hit it every time. Super deep. It's kind of like just wrapping up what I said, which is good. So why have goals anyway? So like I said, it just provides that deeper meaning for what you want to do in life and where you want to end up. And these goals might change. Maybe you have some short-term goals that we'll talk about, or long-term goals. And if your long-term goals change within a couple years, that's okay. That's supposed to happen. These aren't supposed to stay the same, but what goals do is they provide you with that knowledge of how to reach them and figuring out different ways to reach them, either with like researching or talking to people. So each of us has something offered to the world that no other person has. So that means that it's like our responsibility to share that. And you might think that you have nothing to offer, but like we did with our strengths, other people can see what you have to offer, even if you can't see it yourself. I hope that you know that other people do now because of that activity, and that's really important. So if you set goals, they kind of set you on that pathway to understanding that. So a goal, you can't just set it and do nothing about it. You have to actually do daily progress towards it, or weekly, or thinking about it. But the more you do it, the higher chance you achieve your goal. This formula isn't like the be all end all, but it's like that straightforward. You just have a goal and you work towards it. Now, the steps to actually get there might be complicated, but the bare bones of it is you got a goal and you do things to work towards it. So, Stephen Convey, begin with the end in mind. I think a lot of people have a hard time of looking at the bigger picture of things. They're so caught up in the present and like what's going on right now that they forget like there's a whole world, there's a whole universe, there's like so much time out there. And you gotta remember that if your goal doesn't happen right away, that's okay. That you just do things and chip away at it and to like not give up. If you really want something, try to find every possible way in order to get it before you move on to something else. And don't think about if you don't reach your goal that you're giving up. Think about it as you're transitioning to something new. It's okay that goals change. Okay, so you have the paper in front of you. Whoops, a toy just went off. stuck between the couch. Found it. Can't shut it off. Okay, so you have a paper in front of you. You're going to pick your goals. Let me go through a couple of these first so that you have an idea. So it's time to pick your goals. You can do personal development, which means like maybe your goal is to be a kinder person or to work on yourself. Maybe you want to do different things to help develop who you are to be like a better person. Health and wellness, people love going to this one. I love going to this one. So like you want to eat better, sleep better, feel better, exercise more. Educational goals is another big one. So like I want to go into post-secondary to do this. I want to go to post-secondary to be an artist, to be a photographer. There's so many options for educational. To be a teacher. Financial. So like I want to buy a house. I want to buy a car. I don't want to live paycheck to paycheck. Things like that. That could be your goal. So career / present or future. So what are your goals in your future? In terms of career. So what do you want to be when you grow up? What do you want to do? There's so many options. And remember, like I said before, these are going to change over time. So don't feel like if you pick your goal right now, that it has to be that. I remember growing up, I wanted to be like a CSI person, like a crime scene investigator. Obviously, I did not become that because when I started like researching it, I was like, ugh, not my thing. What are your goals in your hobby? Do you want to be the best Fortnite player? Do you want to beat Miss Harper at Call of Duty? Never gonna happen. Do you want to win a crown in Fall Guys and things like that? Or is your goals to impact on others? Do you want to have a positive impact? Do you want to... Well, actually, I was going to say negative because that's the opposite, but no one wants to have a negative impact on others. So not that one. So pause the video, give you about 3 minutes in order to write your goals down. Now, you don't have to pick any of these. You can pick 3 of your own, but pick at least 3. Write them down on the piece of paper that you're following along with. Okay, so to begin with the end in mind, we must visualize and feel the end result. So, think about the goals you just wrote down. What will your life look like once you have met this goal? So think about one goal. Obviously, you can't think about all 3. Unless you can, then that's amazing. But think about one of the goals. Now, if that goal is reached, what will your life look like? How do you think you're going to feel in that moment? So take a moment to write down your thoughts. Be specific. Because imagine you actually come up with this. My brain, just let me. So yeah, you have this feeling in mind of how it's going to be when you reach your goal. And then when you reach your goal, you're actually going to know what that feels like. And then you can look back on what you thought and see how they line up. And I think that's really cool. And that's one of the reasons why I wanted you guys to do this. Because when you reach your goal and you have, prior to reaching it, the feeling you think you would have, and now you know that feeling, I think it would be really cool to look back. So be honest. You don't have to show anyone. Just, yeah, be honest. It's okay. So, give you more time before we move on. Pause the video. Give you like 5 minutes. So, when your why is big enough, you will find your how. For a second, I thought that was incorrect, but it's not. So, a goal isn't just a goal to be a goal, if that makes sense. There's always a reason why you want that. You think it'll make you happy. You think that you'll feel at peace. You think that you'll be a better person. Now, when you think about those bigger pictures, that will allow you to think about, well, how do I reach that goal? So you need to figure out. No one can tell you why you want that goal. You have to figure out why you want that. Why does this matter so much that I said that it's a goal? And you got to figure that out on your own. People can ask you questions that will help you to the answer, but ultimately, you decide that. Okay. Now, Another reason why it's important to know your why. Let's go to the most basic goal that there is. Every new year, what's everyone's goal or everyone's New Year's resolution they're going to do? It's to work out. Now, how long does that last? But if people made a plan and people made an effort to stick to that, it's easier when you get busy or tired when stuff happens, because you're able to be like, hey, I did this goal for this reason, I gotta finish it. I did this stuff in place, I just gotta do it. So you're just better motivated when you have a plan and you have a why, because it means that much more to you than just a goal that you set every year. So, for each goal, I want you to write 3 personal motivations. Try and complete sentences. I know you guys can do it. Don't. I used to not ever write complete sentences because I was lazy, but please try. My goal is blank. 1 personal motivation is blank. My goal is to be a good teacher so that I can evolve in my career to work on curriculum. Things like that. So think about these questions when you're writing. Why does this matter? Why is it important to me? What will happen if I don't reach this goal? If I don't be a good teacher, I think I'd be really sad. It's one. I want to be a teacher for a very long time, and I love when people understand things. So if I don't be a good teacher, it'd be really sad. So again, I'll give you 5 minutes or however long you feel like you need. But write 3 motivation for 3 personal motivations, which is a lot. So that's like 9 in total, which is good actually. Oh, if they overlap, that's okay, but don't get too repetitive. Don't put 3 personal motivations that are exact same for each goal, all right? So goals are dreams with deadlines. Diana Diana, actually. Okay, whatever. So, when setting goals, it's important to give them deadlines because it gives you something to strive for and complete. So if I never had a deadline of when I want to get my master's to work on curriculum, then I could just be a teacher forever. And I could say, oh, I'll do it next year, oh, I'll do it next year, and then I'm like 65 and retired and, oh, didn't get my master's. But if I set a goal where I really want to get my master's by the time I'm 30, so that I can work on curriculum in my 30s, I have a timeline and I have my goal has like a ending point. Now, don't get too caught up on timelines. Yes, they're good for setting this, but sometimes it's good to give yourself leeway. Things come up, and that's okay. But so they're really good in a sense for your own personal mind, but just remember life happens, and if you don't reach that goal, just try again. Give yourself another timeline. Say, okay, I'll do it here. Okay? So, if you have a short range goal, give it about 1 to 6 months. Don't think it's going to happen in a week. I think I read somewhere that your body doesn't change habits until like 4 to 5 weeks, so like a month. So give yourself 1 to 6 months in order to change habits. Now, if you actually have like a middle range goal, give yourself 6 months to a year. And if you have long range goals, give yourself 2+ years, just like mine. I want to be a good teacher, work on curriculum. I gave myself 5 years. So good to have a very timeline so that you don't want just all long range goals. There's little things you can do. Like my short range is always to be funnier. All right? And I feel like I accomplish that every 6 months. I just get funnier and funnier. Sometimes I feel like it's unfair to other people how funny I am. But that's just goal setting. That's just my goal. Alright, set a timeline. You shouldn't need too long for this one, but I'll give you a couple minutes. So, a goal without a plan is just a wish. So, now it's time to figure out what exactly you need to do in order to make these goals a reality. So take your end goal and then backwards map it. What you need to do along the way to make it happen in that time frame you set. So if your goal is a long one, these little milestones you create, these little steps you create in order to finish your goal will actually help you reach it. Because if it's long, you kind of forget about it. But if you're like, oh, I have to do this and then this and then this and then I reach my goal, it actually keeps you motivated because you completed something towards that goal. So you like, my first thing is, all right, I got to be a teacher for a couple years before I could be an actual good teacher. And like, this is my 3rd year. I'm hoping that in the next coming years I get even better and things like that. But you feel like a sense of accomplishment will actually help you in the long run because you're getting that excitement of, oh, I'm almost there. So set specific, actionable steps you need to take in order to achieve your goal. You'll probably have about 5 to 10. And make sure they're very detailed what you will do X at what time. This is very important. I'm not a very planny person, but whenever I'm trying to get something done because I procrastinate, I have to actually do this. So whenever my goal is to complete a lesson or my goal is to complete a unit, I have to have these little steps along the way, and I have to time myself, and it's the only way I'll get it done, unless I'm doing it at like 1 in the morning. Now, does it work every time? No, but I'm working towards that of being less procrastination. I got a lot of goals, I got a lot of things I got to improve on, so you'll hear many throughout this. So again, I'll give you some time. You're going to need a little bit more time, so maybe whenever everyone feels comfortable with moving on. How about at least 5 per each, please? And thank you. And lastly, if the plan doesn't work, change the plan, but never the goal. Sometimes I agree with this, but it's okay if your goals change. Don't forget that. But your plan will probably change multiple times, and don't be like scared or don't be discouraged when this happens. Because like that quote, it even says right there, like each road is different as long as you get to that destination, And maybe your goal needs actually multiple paths that you can't foresee until it happens, and then you're in the moment. And that's okay too. Again, goals change, and that's okay. But if you really believe in goals, in that specific goal, you're going to do everything you can to get it. And that means that your plan is going to change. So, remember, it doesn't matter how you get there, as long as you get there. It doesn't matter how long you get there either, as long as you get there. So, now it's time to pick a day to start living that amazing life that is all yours. Remember, your life is yours. Yes, there's people around you, but ultimately, your life is your life. So let's look at Jimmy Dean and his quote. I can't change the direction of the wind, but I can adjust my sails to always reach my destination. Imagine how powerful that quote would have been if I didn't mess it up. But for real, you can't change what happens to your plan, but your goal, your end point is always the same. Okay, so you're going to finish up your worksheet, anything you didn't get done, and you're going to focus on a reflection thing that we're going to start doing every Thursday. So we're going to check in. How's our goals doing? Did I do anything this week for the goal? Am I a little bit closer to goal? Did I finish one? Do I get to start another one? So every Thursday, we're going to do that. I didn't pick Friday because of Fairy Fridays, but every Thursday. Also, what I want you to do is to pick one goal that you want to share with the class. And write down on a piece of paper. Cut it out. There's 3 per page, so you can share them. Just give me one, and I want to put it around the room. And I don't want people to be discouraged when they put it up. I want other students to lift them up. I don't want it to be like, oh, you didn't get your goal done this week. Lame. I want it to be like, hey, yo, how's your goal doing, bud? Keep on working on it. Yeah, work on your goals. It's good to have them. Bye.